Donald Trump is running for president, but a lot of Republicans want this guy to step aside and say, look, Trump, you're a disaster. You actually cost the Republicans so much in this last election. If we look at your track record, it was awful. He was going around the country saying, this is my candidate. Okay, this was your candidate, and they lost. Last one is Lake, right? That's the last one that took place. So it comes down to now you got Ron DeSantis. Pick up from Ron DeSantis. Give me your take on it.
Ron DeSantis had the biggest victory of any single candidate last week, and really any candidate in the last, 80 years of Florida history. 1.5 million votes he won his election by. He is a solid heir, I would say, to Donald Trump's MAGA empire.
Yeah, whether you endorse him or not, he maybe can bring some sense back to the Republican Party, is the talking point.
Yeah.
He's not a crazy man. And here's the difference. They say that he's boring. He is a little boring, frankly. But you know what? He hasn't been accused of rape. He hasn't been found to have committed fraud. He hasn't been found to have committed tax evasion. He wasn't the best friends of Jeff Epstein. He didn't have a close relationship. He had no silver spoon in his mouth like Daddy did for little crazy Donnie. He wasn't regarded as the worst person on the planet, as we've seen. I mean, you realize there's been votes by both sides.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has been called that person. And so
he's got military background too.
Yeah,
so that works well for him with that, Republican base. And listen, I don't like DeSantis at all. So,
I know you don't.
But I do think if we're looking at this in just terms of candidate strength, DeSantis beats Trump on every single level. And I love that you pointed out these things that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned that as well. As much as I dislike the guy, there aren't, as far as we know, and we've had plenty of time to look, there's no skeletons in that closet.
There really aren't. There really aren't. I mean, when he says, I love my wife, I'm a family guy, that is the story.
I mean, he's got bad culture war legislation, sure, but everybody's
There's no question. I'm not embracing this guy.
No. I'm just saying, but in terms of, have you had any affairs? Were you secretly paying for abortion?
Exactly.
He hasn't done that, and so that automatically puts him leaps and bounds above some of these other Republicans with embarrassing videos or whatever.
This is a short list I got to think about before we came on the air, and it is, Trump has caused more harm to the Republican Party and to American politics. And it's just time for him to move over. And the only thing I see promising is you got a guy who might be able to do that here. And I'm looking at the numbers right now. He's killing Trump already.
His poll numbers have gone through the roof in the last 7 days. And Trump doesn't, he'll never step down. He is not going to move out of the way, even though
he has Trump has serious mental problems. He really does.
And the number of Republicans, his former allies, his MAGA people, the number of them coming out is increasing every day saying, no more Trump. So
well, the truth is, DeSantis is a rising star, and Trump is a flaming out meteor that was there through the sky. He's flamed out. Nobody will admit that he's flamed out. But as you point out, DeSantis, 1.6 million votes in Florida ahead of Charlie Crist. The biggest difference is ever. Is it just Florida history or is it anywhere? Governor history?
I know it's definitely Florida history. I'm not sure if it's all over, but I have to imagine it's at least in the top 10. Yeah, maybe top 5.
Let me close by saying this. He needs to get out there now, because Trump is going to be out there trying to tie up the big givers, okay? He's going to be out trying to tie up as much money as he can from the traditional conservative donors. But if you look at the field, you got maybe Pence, maybe Haley, from South Carolina that's in the mix. But you have Pompeo, who I believe will come in as a spoiler. You understand? If Trump has a lot of people in the field that are just taking away potential votes from DeSantis in the primaries, That's how Trump wins.
You know who else has been trying to paint themselves as not a crazy person recently? Somebody you and I actually talked about a while ago as a potential spoiler, Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Dan Crenshaw has backed away from all of the, Trump-like people.
Yeah.
He's got the military history, obviously the eye patch that immediately draws your attention to the military history, gave up a part of his body for it. That sells well with average Americans.
You agree, though, Trump is going to hope that everybody stands back while he scrambles around trying to tie up as much money as he can from the big donors.
Absolutely.
That's what DeSantis needs to be aware of.